Again, everybody. Welcome to our next lesson in learning all about the element of color. So the last couple of days, we've been putting together our color wheel. So we've learned about primary colors and how you really only need these three primary colors and mix them together to get all the other colors on the color wheel. However, when we look at our color wheel, is this every single color that we really know about? It's not. So one of the things that we can do to really create more variety of color is and to enhance how much colors there are in the world, because there's thousands of colors, is we can take these colors that we've mixed on here and we can mix tints and shades of these colors. Tints and shades of colors is really going to expand the amount of color that you have available to you to enhance your artwork, to really show the element of value, you know, showing light and dark, shadows and highlights on your work. So today's exercise is all about tints and shades using the colors on the color wheel. What are tints and shades? Tints, tones, and shades, really. Tints, tones, and shades is mixing any color with one of the neutrals. So what are the neutral colors? The neutral colors are black, white, and gray. Black, white, and gray can mix, are basically representations of light or the absence of light. And we haven't even included it here on our color wheel yet. So what I want you to do is I want you to take the two neutrals that we have available to us, which is black, and I want you to take some white and add it onto your palette. We're going to add those neutrals onto our color wheel, just so we have them there and we know that they're available to us. And we're going to take a little bit of black. We're going to paint it right here in the center. And then we're going to take white. And we're going to paint it right here in the center. You know what? Okay, I'm going to put it right there. Now, there's one other neutral. When I mix together black and white, I get gray. I'm going to take a little bit of white, take a small dot of black, mix that together, and I'm going to paint gray in the center. So now, when I mix together black, white, or gray with any of these colors, it's going to expand the amount of colors available to me, and it's going to expand the color spectrum. So after I put black, white, and gray, those three neutral colors, those three neutrals into the middle of my page, I'm going to go ahead and actually turn the page, and we're going to do today's exercise on there. So I want you to think about what color you want to use for this exercise. Choose a primary so there's less mixing. My suggestion is to choose red or blue. Mixing shades of yellow can be difficult for a beginner. So I'd really prefer that you choose red or blue for this exercise. I want you to choose a primary because it's a lot less mixing. And yellow is a difficult color for a beginner to start off with. So choose either red or blue. And go ahead and lay that color on your palette. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go with red. So I'm going to put some of that color in between the red and the white and the black on my palette. Making sure to skip spaces in between, skip wells in between on my palette so I can do some mixing. So in today's exercise, I'm going to be mixing tints and shades of this red. Okay. And you'll see how much it expands the red colors that are available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the page in my book. I'm turning the next page in my book, and I have my two neutrals and my pure color on my palette. And what I'm going to do to start off this exercise is I'm going to take just a little bit of my pure hue right here, so my red. I'm going to kind of paint it right here in the center of the page. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to dip my brush in my water. I'm going to rinse it off. Make sure nothing comes off of it. Then what I want to do is I want to dip it into the white, and I'm going to paint the white at the top of the page. Okay, right here. I know you're thinking, why are you painting white on white? Okay. So there's a method to my madness. And I'm going to take my pure black and paint it at the bottom of the page. Okay, now I want you to take a pen or pencil, and we're going to label these. So I'm going to go ahead and label. This is my red. It's my pure color. Okay. Now, when I mix a color with black, that creates a shade. Okay. It's like if you're under a tree. The grass under the tree is still green. It's just a darker version of that green. It's a shade of green. When you're sitting in the shade, it's darker, right? So this black right here is called a shade. And a shade is a color plus black. Any color plus black. Now up here, when I add my color to white, that's creating what we call a tint. When you're adding white to your color, you're making it lighter. So a color plus white. Any color plus white. Now when you're adding one of the neutrals, when you're adding black or white to your color, you're making it darker or you're making it lighter. So when we're making a color darker or lighter, we're controlling the value of that color. Now value, it's an element of art. Just like color is an element of art. Now the element of value isn't the value as in money. It's the value, and the value is the range of lightness or darkness of a color, or in case black and white, it's the range of lightness and darkness. So value is an element of art that refers to the range of lightness or darkness. So value is an element of art that refers to the range of lightness or darkness. It has to do with light, light in the environment. Whether that is the sun or a light from a light bulb. All right. So value is an element of art that refers to the range of lightness or darkness. It refers to light in the environment. So, if it's we're painting a tree, to make it look more three-dimensional, we know it needs to have shades and tints to show what part of the tree is away from the sun and which part of the tree is closer to the sun, and helps it make it look more three-dimensional. It gives it form. So, or the illusion of form. So in this case, when I'm using red, I'm going to be adding black to it to create a shade. And making it darker. And when I am taking that pure color, I'm adding white to it. I'm creating a tint, and I'm making it lighter. Okay. So down here is dark. Up here is light. All right. So the way we're going to go ahead and begin this exercise is I'm going to start by mixing together. I'm going to go ahead and start by mixing my tints. So what I want to do is I want to keep in mind that you want to mix dark and light. So I'm going to take this red that I have here, and I'm going to take a drop of it at a time and add it into the white. So I'm going to slightly dip my paintbrush bristles into the red and add it to the white little by little and gradually making it darker and darker and darker. So I'm going to just take the tip, just touch it in there real slightly. I don't want a lot because I don't want to change it super fast. I want to gradually make it darker. So I'm going to take the tip of it, dip it in the red. Now I'm going to add into the white and I'm going to stir it up. Okay, stir, 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 stir until it's all mixed up really well. I'm going to rub my paintbrush up against the rim of the well here to get out any pure red that might be in there. Stir it up. Sometimes the paint settles into the bristles, so mix, 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 mix. Now I'm going to take this tint of red and I'm going to lay it next to the white on here. And you'll notice that it's pink. Okay, I'm not going to wash my brush in between. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dip my brush into the red again, just slightly, and add it into that white, which is now pink, that white well again. And I'm going to mix, 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 mix. Scrape it along the rim here. Keep mixing till it looks like all that pure red is there. Okay, and then I'm going to take that color and I'm going to put it next to that first color. Now the change might not be drastic, and that's okay. That's what you actually want. You want it to gradually change. And now I'm going to do it again. Take the tip of my brush, dip it in the red, just slightly. Put it into the well. Mix, 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 mix. Okay, mix, 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 mix. Scrape it off on the rim to get any pure color. Take that color, lay it down to the next one. All right. Now my bristles are getting kind of full with paint, so I'm just going to scrape it off. I'm going to dip it into the red. Add it to the white. Okay, mix, 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 stir it up. Okay. Unload my paintbrush bristles by rubbing against the rim. Dip my paintbrush into the red. Add that into the white. Well, pink now. So we know that pink is a tint of red. Stir, 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 scrape, 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 stir, 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 stir. Well, it's all mixed up really well. Lay that color next to that color. Dip it in the red. Stir, 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 stir. And you're going to keep on doing that process until you reach the red, the pure color. And a little bit more red in there. Now make sure when you're mixing, it's not getting up into the ferrule. So you see, it's gradually getting darker and darker and darker, and that's what you want. You don't want it to be too dramatic. You want it to gradually change. Okay, stir, 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 stir. More red, dip it in there. Stir, 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 stir. Now, because we've already added white into it, it'll never get back to its pure color, okay? I would just have to start with a fresh tube again. So, once you kind of alter that and you change the lightness or darkness of it, it's never going to get back to that color again, that pure color again. Oops. All right. All right. So there is my tint value scale of my red. Okay, so look at all these different tints of red that I can use in my works of art.